What's up, guys? Welcome to part 3 of my series where I'm doing the most impactful transfer for each team. Today I'm in the Big 12 conference. I've already done ACC and Big 10 if you want to check those out. I'll do SEC and then G5 as a whole later on. But yeah, let's get into it. First off, we have Arizona, and their most impactful transfer to me is going to be running back Ishmael Mahdi from Texas State. Mahdi has put up video game numbers in his first 2 years in college football. In 2023, he ran for 1,331 yards with 10 touchdowns and added 275 receiving yards, plus another touchdown. In 2024, Mahdi ran for 991 yards and 4 touchdowns, with 195 receiving yards and 2 more touchdowns. Absolutely insane, and he will take a lot of the slack off of Noah Fafita. For Arizona State, it's going to be another running back Kanye Udoh from Army. Udoh had 1,117 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns last season for the Knights. He also averaged a ridiculous 6.2 yards per carry. Now, he does have some huge shoes to fill with Cam Skattebo leaving and becoming a New York Giant, but he fits that mold, size, and strength-wise, and this is one of my favorite transfers of the entire offseason. For Baylor, I'm going linebacker Travion Barnes out of Florida International. Barnes had a ridiculous 2024 for the Panthers with 129 total tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Just a total leader and captain out there. For Baylor, this is a team on the rise with Dave Aranda and quarterback Sawyer Robinson turning the season around last year, and Travion Barnes will help that. For BYU, I think this is the first lineman I have in any of my lists for any team so far. It's offensive lineman Andrew Gentry from Michigan. Not a lot of high-profile transfers here, but Andrew Gentry will help out this O-line so much. Plus, head coach Kalani Sitake is known as an offensive line guy anyway, so this works out perfectly. Gentry appeared in all 15 games the year Michigan won it all in 2023. He's 6'7", 327 pounds, so just an absolute mountain out there. For Cincinnati, we have another running back. It's Tawee Walker from Wisconsin. Walker has had 2 really good seasons in a row. In 2023 at Oklahoma, he had 513 yards with 7 touchdowns, then transferred to Wisconsin, and last year he put up 864 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. I don't know what to expect at all from Cincinnati this year, but Walker will be a positive. For Colorado, it's the first quarterback on this list. It's Kaidon Salter from Liberty. Another team I don't know what to expect from this year, but I'm betting the Colorado Buffaloes will be good. They get a quarterback that has been putting up video game numbers every year at Liberty. In 2023, he led the Flames to a 13-1 record with 2,900 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, only threw 6 picks, and he also had 1,100 rushing yards with 12 touchdowns. Just unbelievable stuff. Last year, the Flames kind of came down to earth, but Salter was still good. I know there is 5-star Julian Lewis hanging in the background of Colorado, but I think he will sit behind Salter this season. For Houston, we have another quarterback in this. We have quarterback Connor Wigman from Texas A&M. Head coach Willie Fritz gets his guy maybe for the next 2 years or so. Wigman comes from A&M where he's had so much potential and talent, but he has been so injury prone, missing more than half the season in all 3 of his years. But for Houston, if he avoids injuries, he could be really, really good for them. For Iowa State, it's our first wide receiver on the list. It is wide receiver Chase Sowell from East Carolina. Chase was great for the Pirates the past 2 years, having 600-plus yards receiving the past 2 seasons. He pairs up with Rocco Beck at quarterback and joins a dynamic passing attack that lost 2 of their best receivers in the draft last year. For Kansas, this is a really under-the-radar one. Not many people have heard of this guy. It's linebacker Bangali Kamara from Pitt and also South Carolina. Kamara was a really good linebacker for Pitt in 2022 and 2023. He then transferred to South Carolina last year and only appeared in 4 games. But I believe he can bring a toughness and an edge to a Kansas defense that really needs it. At Kansas State, we have former Big 12 wide receiver Jaron Bradley, who most recently transferred from Boston College, but has also played at Texas Tech before. He actually played his best football at Texas Tech in 2022 and 2023, posting 745 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2022. He's been trying to get back to that point ever since, and that is exactly what Avery Johnson needs. For Oklahoma State, we have wide receiver Christian Fitzpatrick from Michigan State and most recently Marshall. Fitzpatrick is going into his 6th season and, funny enough, had the best year of his career last year at Marshall. He had 576 yards receiving to go with 6 touchdowns. Oklahoma State is a team that I have 0 expectations for this season, so we will see if Fitzpatrick can help them out. For TCU, I think their most impactful transfer will be running back Kavorian Barnes from UTSA. Barnes was one of my favorite players heading into last year, but some weird things happened with his workload, and UTSA was just a different. Barnes was one of my favorite players heading into last year, but some weird things happened with his workload, and UTSA was just different as a whole last year. For TCU, if they can give him over 130, 140 carries, he can get back to his prime where he was gaining 800 yards or so on the ground. For Texas Tech, I'm going cornerback Dante Balfour from Charlotte. Texas Tech has had a great transfer portal. I almost went Romello Height with this pick, but I wanted to highlight Dante. For Charlotte, he's had 50 tackles in consecutive seasons, as well as being a ball hawk and getting at least one pick the last 2 years. For UCF, we have quarterback Taven Jackson from most recently Indiana, but also from Tennessee. UCF is completely different this year with Gus Malzahn heading to Florida State and them hiring back Scott Frost. How cool is that, by the way? At quarterback, they are getting Taven Jackson, a very unproven commodity. He was a 4-star quarterback in the 2022 class and the 12th ranked quarterback from that class, so I am excited to see him in a starting role this season. For Utah, man, we have a fun one. Quarterback Devon Dampier from New Mexico. Quite possibly my favorite transfer in the entire offseason, and in fact, I think it is my favorite transfer. Dampier was so fun to watch for New Mexico last season, just a human highlight reel. 2,800 passing yards, only 12 touchdowns, and he did throw 12 picks, so definitely not the safest quarterback, but he added 1,200 rushing yards and 19 touchdowns. Super excited to see him in the Big 12, and the dynamic between him and Kyle Whittingham will be interesting to follow. For West Virginia, they're getting running back Jalen Knighton from SMU. West Virginia always has 2 elite running backs, it seems like. Last year was Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson before the injuries. This year, C.J. Donaldson transferred to Ohio State, but they pick up Jalen Knighton to replace him from SMU. Jalen had 3 great seasons in a row for the Mustangs from 2021 to 2023, but got injured early last season. So I cannot wait for him to come back at full strength for the Mountaineers. So that's it for this one, guys. I am 3 conferences down. Then I'll go to the SEC. Next, I'll go to G5 after that. Follow on TikTok. I'm also posting these, a shorter version on there. Trying to post every day on each of these channels. So definitely consider clicking subscribe and liking these. It means so much. Appreciate y'all for watching.